How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys haven't subscribed as already, there's like 65% of you that haven't. Make sure you guys hit like, subscribe, all that kind of nonsense. But we're gonna be talking about rosters, some new, some old. We got some information for you guys to break it down. We're hanging over at twitch.tv/LAWL if you guys want to come join in the conversation. We talk and elaborate a lot more on these with the chat, so when we do these live, it's a little bit different, but we're trying to give you guys the Spark Notes version. Spark Notes might be a little bit too old for some of you, so hopefully I'm not aging myself too bad. But that's it. Let's jump over. We're going to start NA, then go to, I think, South America, and then we'll go to Europe, and we'll go region by region. First things first, some of the older ones. As you guys saw, most likely in my last video, I talked and alluded to First Killer joining Gen G. That has been official since now. They have parted ways with Nolly, and they did release their final documentary series. Really good video. Highly recommend doing it. Also shows Nolly competing at Gamers 8 and stuff, despite knowing he was getting let go. It shows what kind of professional he is, why I rave so much about him, and why he needs to be picked up. The fact that he hasn't found a new team yet kind of blows my mind. But yeah, Gen G officially releases Nolly, and then shortly after did announce that, hey, First Killer is coming on board. First Killer, Jack, and Chronic looking like a very strong team. Curious to see on what kind of playstyle they're going to go. I assume that Jack is going to take a back seat to First and let First kind of go sicko mode, and then Jack is going to be a facilitator, set up, do whatever he can. Most of the time when Gen G was outperforming everybody is when Jack was popping off and having the hard carry capabilities. Very interested to see on what this team ends up building like, but it is built for the future. Alongside that, we do have Team Zealous. Apparently Zealous has signed Money and Expert. So Money and Expert of the SUP roster are still looking for a third. They do have Soul, who is focusing on his CRL career, and that he's going to be on the out. So you do have 2/3 of a team. We're kind of waiting and seeing on who the next one is going to be. Another rumor coming out. Complexity. Obviously, we talked and heard a lot about them trying out Tazai, and it feels like they were like, hey, this ain't it. Tazai, if you guys don't remember me talking about, was a player that has kind of hovered in the 8 to 16 range a lot over in South America, and they were like, AyyJayy, bye-bye. Let's bring in this other guy. And maybe they aren't as solidified, but we may get a reunion of CRR and Dorito, as Complexity says, according to Shift in a rumor, that they're keeping their options open. Maybe Dorito coming over after his leaving of the G1 roster, where he was alongside Oli and Atomic. So curious to see on that one. But Complexity trying to figure out what the heck they're going to do, which I do not blame them based on the results that they've had so far during their tryouts. The big one that dropped today, the one that I've been alluding to a lot with chat, which is still rumored, not officially true yet, is that Nick officially no longer with the Falcons. As we all know, he was basically coaching his replacement and has now found an official spot. This one is true. M80 is going to be having Nick to coach. You saw him with Dignitas. You saw him with Falcons. Solidified, trying to rebuild, and it looks like he's trying to go something a little bit different. The rumors as of right now that 2 players are joining that M80 roster. It is going to be AyyJayy and Joreuz. Okay, so Joreuz no longer with Oxygen, coming over from potentially, we talked about how he is considering doing NA or EU. So we've got AyyJayy, Joreuz potentially. Joreuz then double downs and does probably the best quote tweet I've ever seen. If you guys don't know the original for this with AyyJayy, here it is. AyyJayy with a Panta, double fisting it, putting that boy down. And you can see it obviously in the photo. If you zoom in, there is an overlay of AyyJayy in there. And Joreuz does look slightly terrified. He's like, I don't know if I can keep up this regimen, but the fact that he's tweeted this, I've come to be a big fan of Joreuz over the last year and a half or so, now that I've sitting and talked with him, but bit of a memer. The big upswing for him is now 18, officially done with high school, can focus 100% on Rocket League. Potential a second gear in Joreuz's career. Joreuz, AyyJayy, and third. I have talked to Nick, Coach Nick, about who their third may be if this ends up being true, and trying something different from the way things look like. But of course, in both RLCS offseason fashion, players they didn't think were now possible are now trying out different places, which opens up a massive domino effect. So teams we thought that were solidified no longer are. Hopefully more news on that in the future, but stuff I obviously can't say. But just know a lot of roster changes still happening. Nothing still solidified, but we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, the original source for this all came from Raphael, who's been doing a lot of stuff for the South America team and talking about how, hey, these are the potentials of things that are going to be happening. So there is an official article for it as well. Jumping over to South America, a little bit of old news. They did announce that Bems, who was originally on the bench, has officially been released, and they are going with Swift. So Swift coming in, Astronic continues to show that he is the GOAT when it comes to scouting talent. So Swift is supposed to be really, really good. My opinion, every time in South America, it seems like every regional, when they get to Regional 3, is a battle for majors. And I don't foresee that being anything different. I expect to see the top 3-4 teams in South America always going toe-to-toe and giving us really entertaining results. In my opinion, South America is one of my favorite regions to actually watch. Them and MENA, to me, have been more interesting than NA as of late, if I'm being 100% honest with you. So, recommend tune in. Swift is going to be a name to pay attention to. Before I close out on NA, I also talked about it and tweeted out. Repeat on the Boulevard team. Delta, Alraz, and Repeat. Repeat, 19-year-old kid, hasn't really gotten the call-up before. Very talented as well. Someone to pay attention to. Confirmed over in Europe, we've got Team Vitality. They do a little bit of memeing, but the rumors are true. Fairy Peak is going to be the coach for Vitality. It is officially confirmed. Off the bench, away from Solary and KDOP and Jazette, he is going to be coaching Vitality in place of Farah. Pretty exciting stuff there. They do have like a minute-and-a-half video that talks about some silly stuff. Check it out if you want to watch it, but they just meme about the coaches and who it could be. It's in French. There's some bloopers because players doing scripted content is always goofy. Razier's up next does announce his official roster with Nas, Ivan, and himself. They are looking for an organization, but best of luck to the boys trying to put something together. If you guys don't remember Razier's Gamers 8, not this previous year, but the year before was the one where he got a ton of attention along with CRR before he went to Complexity, and a lot of players started moving around. So, again, Razier's new roster, trying to find a new team, new organization, making a run. We did see some of these players in particular. I think Ivan started making his mark with that, I think it was what, EG or whoever it was at the tail end of the season. A lot of chances for them to make a resurgence. Same thing with Rizex if he finds his new roster. Up next, Mark by8 has announced and has confirmed that he has a new roster. If you go to his Twitter, he has more details on it, but he is going to be teaming with Catalysm and Rizex. So in alignment to what I recently talked about, glad to see Mark by8 no longer with the G1 roster and finally back on the field. There's been a lot of names in EU about potentials and opportunities of like the Astral, Relating Waves, all that kind of stuff that are sitting as free agents that haven't been picked up yet. And we were curious on what was going to happen with a lot of these teams. Well, Relating Wave has announced his new one as well. It's going to be Acro, Toxic, and Relating Wave looking for an org as well. Pretty talented roster, all English as well. Trying to get some accolades up outside of just the French. Again, a lot of the England teams are really, really solid, but will this be the one that goes and competes? We'll have to find out. But a team that we're gonna have to definitely keep our eye on during open qualifiers whenever those get announced. Player that I played football with in an indoor arena alongside Mertz and everybody, Breezy. Boy's got solid defensive skills. I'll give him that. He's also very lanky. But Breezy gonna be working with both Triton and Crispy Don, former of the Endpoint roster, I think it was, at one point, alongside Devo. That is their new team as well. So we got another roster. Wouldn't be surprised if Endpoint picks them up or what happens, but getting some love from some people. Even Jeff, the COO at Resolve, giving them some love as well as Breezy is former. So getting love and attention for some of them, including the Goat Rise and Atomic and everything else. I love the memes here. So either way, getting some attention, getting some new rosters put together. And last but not least, we got to go to Oceania, as we do have the finest roster. Scrub, Amphis, and Fiber forming for the KCP roster. So we do have official confirmation from them. Obviously, we've seen these kind of alluded to as soon as Worlds wrapped for those teams, as soon as they got eliminated. This one has quite a bit of potential. I'm excited to see Scrub and Amphis together. Fiber, I think, is extremely underrated, but yeah, a lot of things moving around in the RLCS. But that's what I got for your recent roster updates. There is more that are going to be coming. I know there was more rumors on the way. There was also some teams, like I talked about during the NA stuff, that are now trying out things that weren't doing previously. When we can talk about them, I'll try to batch them all together, whether it be old or new. We will try to do them all in one, just so you guys don't have to watch 1,000 different videos. But with that, that's going to do it for today's roster video. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, like, subscribe, notifications, stop by the stream, twitch.tv/Lawler, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.